I have with me two leaders from a challenger agency which is part of Martin Sorrell's S4 Capital. They are Kiran Ramamurthy, COO, and Azazul Haque, CCO of Media.Monks. And Azaz here is very famous for not being politically correct. So I'm really looking forward to a no-holds-barred discussion today.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
And he's also wearing a t-shirt which says CCO on it.
Yeah.
So Azaz, let's start with you. So what exactly is Media.Monks? You are a creative agency, a digital agency, you are a content factory, you do production, digital production, everything. Just so much.
Yeah, I think we are the need of the hour is what I think the way to put it. I think that's how the agencies should be designed now. That's how the future of that's where the future of advertising should move. Because the needs of most of the brands are such that they need a singular unit which can actually give them all possible outputs, no matter what the medium is, no matter what the format is, no matter what the necessities or requirements are. I think an agency should be able to deliver all and yet keep a uniformity in terms of the brand tonality, etc. And I think that's what we are. If a brand wants us to make a TVC for them, we can. For the same brand, we can actually create always on content. For the same brand, we can do something digital. For the same brand, we can do something which is tech first. So we are equipped to deliver no matter what the format is, no matter what the medium is. We can deliver on all formats, all mediums, and yet kind of make sure that the brand voice doesn't change no matter what the medium is, or even if the format changes, the medium changes, the brand voice remains same. So we, if I have to like put it in a single sentence, I think we are the future of advertising.
Interesting. You know, another thing is, I think Martin Sorrell, when he started Media.Monks, I think he had a very interesting proposition in mind. He wanted to make you the onboard, the retainer production house. And now, when it comes to India, that has completely changed as far as you are concerned. Now you are a full-fledged creative agency. Why did that change in positioning happen?
I would let Kiran answer that.
So just to clarify on that, I think when Sir Martin Sorrell set up S4, he was very focused on it being digital first, on it being data driven, on it working with the digital media, and most importantly on it being a unitary model, which is a single P&L. Okay. And I think all of those things kind of came together. And what we have is actually what Azaz did say, but in the new era, you need something which is a new marketing framework, a new marketing company. That's what we are. Now, how that translates into India, okay, we are all of this, but the way we translate this into India is very, very simple. We are a brand consulting and communication agency with the capability to execute, and we are probably the only one which takes we start right from strategy to communication to creative to digital to the final execution. And the execution is not just content, is not just TVCs. The execution is websites, it is apps, it is AR and VR experiences, it is creation of digital avatars, it is experiential, it is gaming. So all of these things, and we have the capability to execute all of these in-house. So while we start with the brand, we see it through to execution, and that really is what we are all about.
Okay, but having said that, did that concept of, an agency that just executes and doesn't conceptualize, did that not cut eyes in India when you started off? I think you did start off as a pure play production house in a way. And, here we have a very different kind of a setup, where there is a give and take relationship between the creative agency and the production house. So would you say you, in a way, ruffled feathers when you started off this concept in India?
I wouldn't say ruffled feathers, but the way we started, and it's absolutely right. We started, we had to start from somewhere. And the place where we started was, we merged with a digital content studio called White Balance.
Right.
It was a small setup of 30 people. And because their antecedents was production, we started with building the execution capabilities. And as we built the execution capabilities, we were very sure. I mean, in the entire communication system, there is a value chain from the top to the bottom. So our entry point was somewhere in the middle or towards the latter part, right? And in 1.5 years, we said that now that we have established the execution capability, we need to start at the top end of the value chain because we have more to add along the complete value chain. So we did that. But the good thing for us was because we started with the execution capabilities, we were able to sort of do what most agencies generally struggle to do, which is connect the thinking with the final execution.
Right.
I mean, ruffled feathers. I really don't know. I think we are an ecosystem where we have a lot of friends and in the industry. So I really wouldn't say we ruffled any feathers. Yeah, we were a different model. To that extent, I think we got recognized as being a different model. I think that's pretty
So
much
we
it.
have Kiran, who's very politically correct, and we have Azazul, who's politically
Yeah,
not correct.
I think we didn't ruffle feathers, but yeah, I think did. I think we were the awakening for many agencies. We did shake them up because they were in a slumber. They were not ready to accept the changing era. And I think what Media.Monks did is kind of showcase, and that's where I think it did make a lot of people uncomfortable in the industry. Is that, hey, things can be like this. There can be one organization or there can be one marketing consultancy organization which can deliver everything right from the conception of an idea to the execution of it, which they were not equipped. So post that, I'd seen most of the agencies across the the various networks trying to actually adopt that model. They are shifting to
Right.
be what we started. Kiran being and Porden being the ones who actually started it. So yeah, I think we didn't ruffle feathers, but we made them uncomfortable I think for their own good.
If you had to talk about where is the bulk of your revenue coming from, which part of the business would that be from?
So our revenue, we really don't break this down. But if I were to give you a top line, uh, almost 60% of our revenue comes from the top end of the value chain that I spoke about. There is only 20% that comes from the absolute the lower end of the value chain, which is the production.
Oh, okay.
Another 20% lies somewhere in between. So it is top loaded. It is brand conversations. If you had asked me this question 3 years earlier, it would have been the other way around. But today, fortunately for us, because we kind of evolved in that particular manner, a bulk of our revenue still comes from the brand thinking, and the obviously the execution follows, but it still is weighted out there.
And Kiran, also to understand how difficult was it to get big clients on board? You know, you were always when Martin Sudan launched, it was considered as this threat to WPP and all of that. But you also came in at a time when the pandemic was just ahead of you. So how difficult was it for you to bring in like the big clients and change their loyalties?
So it was difficult, and initial years were and because we started in January 2020, while in one way it was not the right time to start, in another way it was a great time to start, because at that point in time is when clients realized that they have no option but to think of other solutions to reach consumers. So at that point in time, what we brought to the table through digital experiences, through being able to do things in a very controlled manner in our studios when a lockdown was on and stuff like that, gave us our entry. And in fact, I still remember one of our biggest clients at that point in time was an edutech company. Okay. And we produced 1,000 plus videos for them
1,000 plus.
in the middle of the pandemic. And as we started doing this kind of stuff, we kind of made inroads. But the other thing that I have to tell you, which helped us gain the confidence of clients, apart from having worked with them, and lots of clients who came on board have worked with a lot of us who were initial members, worked with Azaz. But more importantly, I think there has been this DNA of us of experimentation and putting out proof of concepts.
Okay.
So we invest a lot of time into developing a particular technology. I mean, in India, we perhaps have been the first to have been dabbling with something called the Unreal Engine. It's Unreal Engine is something that is used in gaming. Fortnite uses it. So and that Unreal Engine is currently used a lot in for production, because we started dabbling with Unreal Engine. We started putting out proofs of concept. And those proofs of concept, when you go to the client and show what is possible technologically, and you're just not talking, you're actually showing them what is possible. I mean, we had something called the car replacement technology. And the car replacement technology is you shoot with one car and you can make it into a different car. Okay. And premium studios actually struggled to do this. So we were able to do that. We brought in from Unreal Engine, we started doing multiple things, and one of the things that has resulted into is something called virtual production, where you can be in New Delhi and shooting an ad in the middle of Champs-Élysées, because you have an LED screen, and the LED screen is beaming Champs-Élysées, and your camera is motion capturing everything so that there is no parallax. So we have done multiple things, and the proofs of concept actually helped us kind of tell clients that we were ready to do stuff. And clients have been wanting to experiment. They know that things are changing for them, and therefore they have sort of reposed their confidence in us.
Fabulous. So proofs of concept was the real winner for you.
Yep.
Okay, also tell us about the clients that you've onboarded at this point and new wins.
So we've been honestly lucky. We've been working across multiple categories in the technology space. We've been working with HP, Xiaomi, Poco, Adobe, and we're working on another big technology company that we should be able to announce very shortly, right? In FMCG, we have Tata Tea. We have worked with Britannia. We have worked with Mondelez. In the e-commerce space, obviously there is Amazon, which is a large client for us. In the startup space, we have worked with a lot of startups in the fintech space, in the edutech space, even in the healthcare space. So we worked with a lot of companies in that. One of our most recent additions. I mean, we've been working with Bajaj for a long time, and on one of their portfolio brands, we are now the digital AOR. So there are, and in the automotive business, I mean, so we also have a lot of international clients that we handle out of India.
Okay.
Which
are these?
So there's an association called Worldwide Federation of Direct Sellers Association, WFDSA. It's the direct selling body, like companies like Amway, Nutralife, all of these, the body. So we are doing a rebranding exercise for them. There's a UN affiliated company that we are working for in the agriculture and sustainability space. But also we work a lot with companies like Google and Facebook and BMW, which is handled out of our international offices, but we use India as a development and deployment center. So there's a lot of work for Google, for BMW that happens out here. We have Booking.com as a client. So I mean, it's just a long list, but yes, we've been fortunate enough to work with clients like these.
So Bajaj, Tata, Amazon, very interesting. I mean, and I think Azaz, you recently also directed an ad for Tata Tea, which was actually conceptualized by Malan.
Yeah, I think.
How often does that really happen?
Just gone on air. I think it's good in a way that I think we are it's the new era of collaboration where I think the boundaries should blur. And Tata Tea is a client, and I think it's good that whether it's us or whether it's Mullen, we both are thinking what is good for the brand, and we are thinking of the brand rather than what is, the competition that various agencies or organizations have. So there was a project for Tata Tea, and the uh, the campaign was cracked by the script was written by Mullen Lentas, and and they asked me if I can direct that film,
Okay.
and it was an honor because I think for the first time in the history of advertising,
Oh.
it's happening that the head of agency of some other
Exactly.
organization is directing the script written by some other agency. So, but I think that's the new era of collaboration. A lot more such things should happen. I think we all should think of the brand first, and then comes that we are different agencies. So it was fun. I think everyone loved the film. It's just gone on air. I hope people will love it as well.
Okay, so you pitch now as a production house, as a creative agency, or is it a combined thing that comes?
No, I think the way we go to clients is brands and businesses have problems, and in this particular age, you need somebody who keeps the brand at the center, but has an ecosystem that can handle whether it is communication or whether it is experiences. So the what has been the classical issue? The classical issue has been that so-called brand agencies have probably not been able to sort of do digital in the way digital has to happen in the agility in everything else. The digital agencies have probably not been able to understand the brand, and the brand voice might get compromised in a few. And these are things that we have heard from clients. Now take that and compound it, because your brand experiences, which is whether it's your website, whether there's a gamification happening, the newer things like digital avatars. Now, even if these two are not talking to each other, now with all of these newer things coming in, how can you keep the brand at the center and still have an ecosystem that delivers to a particular brand voice? I think where we fit in is we come there and we say, we understand the brand. We are not starting by telling you we have an AI solution for you, we have a metaverse solution for you, or we have a TVC for you. We are saying we need to understand the brand, we have to understand the business problem, and we will solve it because we have this ecosystem that can solution depending on what the brand needs. So that's how we approach clients.
And I think your revenue grew 4 times between 2021 and 2022. What is 2023 looking like for you? What kind of growth are you really expecting?
So yeah, we've actually had a CAGR of around 72% from the time we started out, right? And when you have had such a high growth rate, it is not going to be sustainable. There is a point in time when it will start to kind of peter down. I think 2023 is where we are expecting moderate growth in the high single-digit percentage, but it is pretty consistent with, I think, how the overall industry has been going, or slightly better than that. So we are happy with where we are, because I think we are doing what we targeted to do. So we are very happy with that. And as we start offering more services, I'm fairly confident that the growth will start being even more sort of robust.
You are a 100 crore plus agency right now.
That's correct.
Okay. A lot of even network agencies have not reached that point. I know that's so very cool for something which is just 3 years old.
Thank you.
And to what extent does Media.Monks India contribute to the global revenue of Media.Monks?
So, okay, generally we do not really talk about country revenues because we are a unitary P&L.
Okay.
So I'll really not delve too much into that particular piece, because again, apart from our statutory P&Ls, we don't evaluate ourselves like that, because we are a unitary P&L model, right? But it's not one thing that I can tell you is it's not a significant number from a global standpoint, but in the course of our evolution, we think that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will be a very significant part of our global revenue mix.
Also talking about global, I think S4, your mother company's revenues have fallen by 15.4% in the third quarter of 2023. Have you managed to insulate yourself from that, and in what way?
So I don't. Again, I don't think that. I don't think that there is necessarily a connection between how we are doing globally, and globally also we expect Q4 to be much stronger. The way we have worked in India, and it's not by design, but we have had lots of clients which we call as local heroes, which basically is a lot of local companies that constitute a bulk of our this one. So these our clients are not necessarily clients who are global clients, and therefore we have the India businesses. The local heroes actually form 80% of our number. So to that extent, I think we have kind of had our own path as we have sort of moved in this direction.
I think 2023 for us was more the year for, I think, realization of what we can be. Also, what we should be.
Okay.
We need to plan for that, because I don't think we're just 4 years old, right, Kiran?
Yeah.
4 years now.
Yep.
We're just 4 years old. So like a toddler in that sense. But yeah, we don't want to just take baby steps, we're going to run. So we have the ambitions of running, and we are running, and we are beating the ones that are best in the industry. So we are sprinting, actually, we're not just running. So in 2024, I think we would want a lot of the way we are, a lot of things that we have said. It's about, I think they're more in, we have seen a lot of executions, or at least especially for Tata. A lot of work that we've done for Tata is the kind of work we would want to do, whether it's what we did for Lori, what we did for 26th of January, which was a virtual parade, whether it's about kind of personalizing tapas, going hyper-personal in many kind of content, using technology, and how do we massify technology in terms of, because content has to be mass. Advertising was always mass communication. And how do we use technology to reach to masses? Even a person who's running in a small town, an auto rickshaw uses technology now. How do we make technology reach him or her? I think it's going to be a big task for us. How do we make a lot of content a lot more engaging? Because we see content, the classic advertising content, which is TVC, which has been the biggest for India. We personally believe that it's not going to be, it's not a sustainable,
Going forward.
there's no future. I think in the next few years, people want, there are millions of content creators now in India. People want to create now, they don't want to watch. So how do we make them create ads instead of make them watch it? I think that's the era that we are entering. So I think next year it's not just going to be designing the future of Media.Monks, but also designing the future of what advertising should be in India. I think that's going to be a focus area, apart from the business growth. I think that is always going to be there for any organization. But personally, I think creative challenges are going to be a lot, because we all are trained. I myself have spent 20 years just writing TVCs and making TVCs. But how to create content for this new era of communication is something which we'll have to figure out and deliver. And I think 2024 is going to be purely, the focus is going to be on that.
Just one last question: is most of your business project based or retainer?
That Kiran will answer.
So, when we started out, it was project based because, like I said, we were entering in the middle of the value chain. And as we started going towards the top end of the value chain, I think we have come to a space right now where 35% of our business has moved towards retained or what we call deemed retained businesses. And our objective is to take it up to 50, 60 percent because it's strange, right? Because I think agencies that have been on retainer businesses started with 100% retainer businesses, and now that is coming down. In our case, we have kind of started the other way around, but happy to report that we are making good progress in achieving the right kind of balance there.
So in that case, I'll end this interview by quoting Azaz. May you continue to sprint and not run. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
both of you, for
Thank
speaking
you.
to me and Impact.
Thank you, Neeta. Thank you.
Thanks.